104.5 The Team, your home for New York Jets football. Good day for us right now. We're joined by Field Yates, sponsored by Mohawk Army Navy. Field, why were the Bills so ineffective against the Jets last night?
Yeah, I think it comes down to offensive line play, guys. I mean, the Jets control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Look at how they were able to effectively run the football on offense. Nearly 200 rushing yards, including, of course, 2 touchdowns for Matt Forte, who ended an 11-game streak without a rushing touchdown. And then defensively, their line ate up the Bills' offensive line. 7 sacks allowed of Tyrod Taylor. It's hard to get 7 sacks on any quarterback, much less one with the mobility and nifty footwork of a player like Tyrod Taylor. So a clinical day for the Jets on both sides of the ball. I think that was really the difference on Thursday night.
Up front on both sides, as you touched on, they look competitive. They almost beat the Patriots. They compete with the Atlanta Falcons. Do we start talking about this Jets team as a serious contender for an AFC playoff spot now?
I don't know about a serious contender for an AFC playoff spot, but I do think that Todd Bowles deserves legitimate recognition as a possible coach of the year. They have 4 wins, which is probably the amount that most people thought was the best case scenario for the entire season. And if you look at their schedule and the way that it breaks the rest of the way, they play the Buccaneers next Sunday. They've got an extended rest on that, and they have consecutive home games against the Panthers and Chiefs coming off of that bye. So is it perfect? No. Is it going to be a difficult schedule ahead? Yes. But if they win 6 or 7 games this year, I don't know how Todd Bowles isn't right in the mix for Coach of the Year in the NFL.
Field Yates with us right now, brought to you by Mohawk Army Navy on 104.5 The Team. So, Field, before the season started, we thought, okay, Giants are a shoo-in for the playoffs. Jets and Bills are reworking, and now it looks like Giants may just be a complete mess. Are we expecting anything better from them after a bye week?
Well, I guess it's depending on what your scale of better is, right? I mean, listen, better, does it mean competitive? Does it mean a win? Does it mean not getting blown out? I think it just depends on what the spectrum is there. But, defensively, I'd say, I expect them to be a lot better. But you've got Janoris Jenkins who's been suspended. They've already ruled out Jonathan Casillas. They've already ruled out Olivier Vernon. They've got so many injuries right now. Heck, they only have to add one more player to their inactives list because they've ruled out 6 players already going into this game. And offensively, as much as Sterling Shepard helps having him back, it's just one player. I don't know that I see a win for the Giants this Sunday, even though the Rams have to travel a long ways and play an early game.
When you see players like Eli Apple's late, but he has an excuse that Janoris Jenkins gets, or Jackrabbit as he wants to be called, he gets suspended. Is this, in your experience, is this a sign that McAdoo might be losing that locker room?
Well, I've been asked that question a lot, and I don't know that there's an obvious answer to that because after they beat the Denver Broncos in Denver, with Denver coming off of a bye, people were saying, look, it's like nothing cures the ails of a team more than winning. And yet here we are now, and it's feeling like maybe the locker room has been let go again. I would just say this is that these these ebbs and flows of the football season can certainly be something that we attach to. The recent suspensions certainly aren't a good look for the Giants, but I think if they win this game on Sunday, or if they win a couple of games straight, or maybe 2 out of 3, we'll have a whole different narrative about this roster right now. But, yeah, I understand why the questions are at least arising.
Another team with questions in the NFC East is the Dallas Cowboys. We find out earlier this afternoon that now Ezekiel Elliot can play this Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. Is this the final time we may see Zeke Elliott in the regular season? Levack and I are under the impression until he's actually suspended, we're not going to believe he's going to be suspended.
I was going to say, until he misses games, because he has been suspended. He was listed as suspended on the NFL transaction notice that went out earlier this week. Is it the last time we'll deal with this conundrum? I don't know, guys. At this point, I'm not willing to put my neck out there and say, yes, this is the end of it, or yes, this is the beginning of it, because we just don't know. This is yet another high-profile legal situation that involves an NFL player that there is no obvious answer. Tom Brady and Deflategate a couple of years ago, and Zeke Elliott and this potential suspension. If I had to guess, I think he eventually still serves a 6-game ban, but I have no idea when that ban will actually begin.
Yeah, Field, I foolishly got my hopes up. I'm playing against him in fantasy this week, and I thought maybe I wouldn't have to face him, but here he is, just like a horror movie monster. He's right there.
Yeah, listen, the real life football implications are like, imagine if you're the Kansas City Chiefs today, right?
Yeah.
Like you went from facing potentially Alfred Morris, Rod Smith, and Darren McFadden to, maybe the best running back in football right now, and Zeke Elliott, at least the best one playing this weekend because Le'Veon Bell is on a bye. So you can certainly say between, Le'Veon Bell, Zeke Elliott, Todd Gurley, Kareem Hunt, like four of the best running backs in the NFL this year, and that Chiefs run defense has been more of their Achilles heel than their pass defense. They have not been particularly good against the run. As a matter of fact, they're one of just 5 teams that has already allowed over 1,000 rushing yards this season.
Field Yates with us right now, 104.5 The Team. Field, Andrew Luck officially put on the IR yesterday. Fans are mad. They feel like the Colts used like dangled him like a carrot to get ticket sales up. What are you hearing? What exactly is going on here with Andrew Luck?
Yeah, well, listen, I think people are trying to assess blame in this situation. I'm not sure that's really where we need to focus on right now. Listen, the injury took place in 2015, and yet he's still not right. That right there is the concern, but I'm not sure where the Colts could have gone differently. I think the one question we continue to ask is why not? Why did he not have surgery sooner? And that right there, we don't know the answer to. But if you're Chris Ballard, the Colts general manager, right now you're probably saying, like, I need to do what's best for the long haul of this franchise. He doesn't have to prove himself this year to keep his job. I mean, Chris Ballard's going to be there for quite some time. He's not even a full year into his gig as the Colts GM. But if you're him, you have to take the long play and accept that it's not about winning this season. It's about winning in 2018 and beyond, as difficult as that might be for some Colts fans to watch this year.
Same goes in the AFC South with Deshaun Watson. He suffered a non-contact torn ACL in practice. Where do the Texans go from here from that quarterback position for the remainder of the season?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is it's just a bummer, right? Like,
yeah.
Not only did it happen to any starting quarterback. Listen, I don't like any player in any sport getting hurt, right? It's just a bummer to see. But Deshaun Watson has completely galvanized this franchise, right? Like, he has become the focal point of hope and harmony for that offense in Houston. And if you look at social media, which sometimes can be, it can be, as we know, it's not always the friendliest place on social media. But
negative,
the
we'll say.
outpouring of support, that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Right? The amount of support that Deshaun Watson got yesterday was just incredible. I mean, players from all corners of the NFL, and heck, LeBron James is tweeting about it. You've got all kinds of athletes and public figures tweeting about Deshaun Watson. You get just how much he means, not just the Texans franchise, but football fans as a whole.
Field Yates with us. All right, so Field, your fantasy knowledge is much needed. Andrew Luck gone, Aaron Rodgers gone, Deshaun Watson gone. Just to name a few. Who's out there? Like who's some waiver wire players who can salvage those of us who thought we did really well in our drafts, and now ACLs and concussions and everything else have us looking for any kind of help?
Yeah, I'd say if you're looking for a streaming quarterback this week, amongst those that have not yet played, obviously last night Josh McCown could have been an option based off his, the amount of leagues he's available on in ESPN.com. But I think Jared Goff is a name that a lot of people are going to be discussing between now and the end of this weekend. The Giants, not that you guys don't know this already, but over their past 4 games, over 1,300 passing yards allowed, the worst in the NFL. They've also allowed 10 passing touchdowns. The only time that someone didn't go over 330 yards against the Giants was Phillip Rivers when the Chargers came across the country and won that game, but he threw 3 touchdowns in that game. No Janoris Jenkins, no Olivier Vernon, no Jonathan Casillas. You've got, 3 of your best players out this week. I think there's a good chance that Jared Goff and the Rams have a productive game in the passing offense.
Phil, we appreciate you, man, and it was nice seeing you on TV a little more this week.
There you go. No problem, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on.